Well, hello there, friends and kin. Thank you for stopping by today. As always, it's a pleasure to spend this time with you. My apologies for missing our appointment last week. I was unable to make the designated time and place, and actually, I had a little bit of a rough week this past week, but that's all getting sorted out, and everything's getting better. So, a lot of you have sent positive thoughts and prayers my way, and I deeply appreciate every last one of you. And I've also noticed that there have been some new subscribers show up lately, so I'd like to formally welcome uh, anyone new to the family. And that's what I like to think of this as a gathering of close friends and soul family. I like to treat this like we're sitting down together and enjoying a cup of tea, cup of coffee, fire up a cigar if you like, and we just get to relax amongst the ancestors and the powers of the green world and enjoy each other's company. And so if this is your first time watching and the first episode first new episode to pop up since you subscribed, I want to offer you a warm welcome. And it's great to have you among the friends and kin gathered here today. And please feel free to throw your thoughts, observations down into the comments. If there's something you want to ask specific questions about in our time today, our time together today, feel free to throw them in those comments. If you have suggestions for things that you would like to see discussed and talked about down the road, feel free to put them there as well. And if you're stumbling across this just now and you haven't, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. I'd love to have your support and I'd love to connect with you. And for all of you who are subscribed, thank you so much for your support and helping this community grow. Now, that being said, first order of business, let's do our reading. Well, hold on. We got one other order of business. I've always got to cover the things that give me joy and happiness. So this is the Yagua cigar, I believe by J.C. Newman. Excellent cigar. Boxed in a way to where all of them look all of them look a bit unique. They have a little bit of an oddball shape because of the way they're pressed and the way they're stored. But this is a mighty fine smoke. Now, let's get on to the reading and the deep stuff. So today we're picking up with verse 9 of Roger Horne's Carmina Magistra, at the very end of The Witch's Devil. Verse 9. My beloved's court lies under the hill, among a secret and hidden people. My beloved's queen is a comely lady who holds her feasts in the cool of graves. My beloved's subjects are as infinite as stars, wandering from their cities deep. On unseen roads and sojourn all joy and fury, to bless and to curse by fate's decree. As once he fell streaming through the night, so did his people journey with him, to craft within the earth such places worthy to guard the secrets he keeps. Well, this one's loaded with some very powerful imagery. This verse, friends and kin, to me is very clear. This verse is about the master of spirits, the witch's devil, as his role as the fairy king, lord of the folk under the mount. In this one, he's making more direct references to fairy lore and uniting the fae with the dead, the ancestors, those below the mound. That's why they're infinite as the stars, because those courts contain pieces of the souls of all the people who've walked this earth before us, which are virtually innumerable. And the queen of that court is a lady known by many names. But at her core, I think the oldest face that she has is that of old Mother Fate. I liken her to Earth, the eldest, or at least thought to be the eldest of the three Norns. That which was. The deep memory. That deep memory by whose designs the present is woven, and how we try to foresee that which should be. That's his queen. There are references to his role as the leader of the Wild Hunt, blessing and cursing during those transitional times of the year between Hallowmass and Yule. Well, Yule sort of being the pinnacle of it, it's really between Hallowmass and Imbolc, at least by my reckoning. The stories of the Wild Hunt taking up the souls of those who have no business being here or who need to move on, and blessing those who are striving to do the good work here with the time they've been allotted. It's my take on it anyway. Yes, this verse was loaded with some powerful, powerful imagery. And even hints at the connections to folklore around the devil of the Christian tradition falling once he fell, streaming through the night. Of course, that could also be alluding to the Wild Hunt riding down from the sky and affecting the realm of the living. That's imagery of the Wild Hunt and the folk below the mound has always spoken to me on a very, very, very deep level. And I think that that's why in some way I've always been drawn to cemeteries. Not only for my connection with Santa Muerte, I think my connection with her is even rooted in this. It's the closest thing we have to burial mounds of our own. Well, they serve the same function in our society as burial mounds did in the old world. Liminal places where people come to let go of their lives and mourn the lives of those they loved who are no longer here. There's a couple things I want to touch on before I wrap up for today. A good friend of mine recently reached out to me and asked that I make a time and a place to go over this one particular topic, and I promised her that I would. And this may make it into an episode of one of my other, one of the other shows we do on this channel. But I thought bringing it up here today might be a good thing, and I think she really wanted some guidance on this, and that's talking about disenchantment. And it's something I see actually float around a lot of forums that I'm on, of people who struggle maintaining, maintaining their belief in magical things and the work they're doing in their practice. And sometimes that creates a blockage to their endeavors working. And certainly if you're having trouble believing in what you're doing or seeing what you're doing in a magical way, that certainly can create a blockage. And A lot of times if we do spell work that doesn't work out the way we want it to, it's very easy to simply fall into the mindset of, well, maybe this shit just ain't real. That's the easy conclusion. A little bit more focus and thought, and we can probably work out why our workings didn't pan out for us. Maybe our intention wasn't focused enough, or maybe we were contending with something we're just not ready to go up against. But if you find yourself feeling disenchanted, I'm going to give you some heartfelt advice, because I fight with it too. Just falling into despair and disenchantment. The most effective way I've ever come up with to combat the disenchantment is to remember the things that got me to believe in magic to begin with, and reconnecting with my childlike sense of wonder, because these things, fairy tales, the fae themselves, gods and spirits, otherworldly entities, the arts of magic, I've believed in these things since childhood, and nothing ever fully broke that belief. And I find that if I engage in the things that gave me that sense of wonder, that inspiration that I felt as a child, that just captivated my attention and made me believe in all things magical, if I can reconnect to those things somehow, it snaps me out of that disenchantment. Being in places like this when I was a kid, it made me believe in the possibility of communicating with the spirits of the dead. Because deep down, even though I didn't consciously know it in my head, deep down I knew that I was walking on liminal ground. I was walking in a place where the veil is thin. And surely spirits can hear me here. If they can't hear me here, where can they hear me? If I can't hear them here, where can I hear them? So wandering these grounds, reading the names on the headstones, pondering what their lives were like, and talking to them as though they're here, as though they're present with me and I'm paying them a visit. Talking to the trees. And if a name pops up in my head that the tree wants to go by, I'll refer to them by that name, even if it sounds ridiculous. And then I'll talk to them like they're right here next to me. I do the same to animals that cross my path, whether it's squirrels or hawks or crows. Sometimes they'll make noises back at me, and I like to think that they're responding to me in some way, even if it is just to say, get the hell off my lawn, or don't bother talking to me unless you're going to give me food. I have a feeling that's what most of them are trying to communicate. You know, don't bother me unless you're going to give me food. Taking a walk in the woods and looking at the miraculous formations of life all throughout the journey. I used to walk through the woods and look at all the different plants and fungus and animals and just be completely mesmerized by them. And I tried my best to listen to the land. When things would go quiet, all the animals would be silent, I would go silent too and listen. Because it's in moments like that that either some sort of apex predator is moving through the area and you probably need to listen for your own safety, or B, the one I find more intriguing, maybe the land is trying to tell you something and everything else is being quiet to allow you the opportunity to listen. That's how I deal with disenchantment. If you have ways of dealing with it that have been helpful and effective for you, please feel free to share them in the comments. And before we part ways today, friends and kin, let's draw a guidance card for the week. Ten of Clubs. The work is done. What do we do when the work is done? Celebrate its completion. Acknowledge a job well done. Give yourself a pat on the back when you deserve it. Don't be humble. Well, humbleness can serve a purpose, but not to the point where it's self-denial. If you've done a good job, let other people pat you on the back. Take the compliment. If the job crashed and burned, don't walk away angry. That's not going to help you. Assess what made it go wrong and take an opportunity to learn from it. Also, sometimes acknowledging when to walk away is a big part of the job being done. There are some jobs that'll just or some endeavors that will just completely drain the fuck out of you and keep draining from you over and over and over again without giving you anything back in return. And it's important to acknowledge that. And you reach a point where you say, okay, it's time to disengage and go on my merry way, because I'm losing a lot more than I'm gaining. The juice ain't worth the squeeze, and it's time to pack it up and go home and move on to something more productive. So on whatever terms the job is done, whether it's you lacking confidence and not being willing to take a pat on the back, let yourself take a pat on the back if you've done something and succeeded. Don't doubt yourself. If something's taking more than it's giving, learn when to walk away. Or at least reassess and reevaluate and reconstruct your terms of remaining involved. Well, as always, friends and kin, it's good to see you. Thank you for stopping by and spending this time with me. Please feel free to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this time, and by all means share if you'd like to bring other people into our circle of family. You have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next Sunday.